Today we have the rear end removal of a Huskee tractor. It's a hydrostatic transmission. What happened was this tractor, the compression release valve went bad in the engine, and I have another tractor just like it, and I'm going to just save the rear end and some valuable parts on it. Things wore out on it, like the deck, and when it gets up there in age, I was thinking, well, the seat's still in really good condition, and some of the tires and the rear end is actually really smooth, and I thought it was something that was worth keeping. So I removed a tire here, and then I was like, well, maybe there's somebody out there that might want to see this done. So here in a second, I'll remove this other rim. They're 13 millimeter on each side. It's just one bolt and a slide right off. I have a couple different projects in here. I have a John Deere, and I have a Cub Cadet back here that I'm working on. It's needing some work. But just a little bit of everything. And you know, from time to time I put them together and make some money. Let's see here. Let's get started. Go over there and remove that other rim and tire. It was 13 millimeter. I usually use like a breaker bar with a socket. Just like, you know, you're removing something on a car, you know, just put it on there and give it a nice push. And it comes pretty loose. Should only be about an inch long or so. There we go. So there's our bolt there, and well, it's almost off. This is trial and error. Let's give it a couple little taps. There we go. Trusty old hammer there. Knocked it right off. So I just use jack stands and a cheap Harbor Freight jack, just to kind of elevate it off the ground. Now, as you can see, the rear end is up in the air, and I just kind of use common sense when I'm trying to work on stuff. I'm trying to, like, just, you know, kind of take it apart how someone else would do it. There's guys that probably say crawl under there and remove that spring and all that other stuff, but I try to work simple. I see an opportunity to remove a couple bolts here, so that's what we'll try to do here. What size is that? 14? Let's try a 13. It seems to be a little too big there. Let's try 13. There it is. And this is just something I wanted to save in case, you know, I'm gonna put a blade on this other tractor, and if this thing, if the other one, you know, breaks or something, it doesn't hurt to have a spare. Let's try this here. I was getting greedy here. What's another simple thing people would do? They take a nice big crescent wrench here. We'll hold that and we'll take a look. There it is. Now that spring is probably going to go flying here in a second. But I just want to kind of remove these bolts here. Just see what we got. We've got a little bracket, a couple lock washers and nuts. We got 2 lock washers, 2 nuts, and for the top there. Some people can save all that stuff. Let me get a little pry bar here. Little pry bar, big pry bar. We'll just pry this down a little bit. That's off through the frame there. That's good. Now we'll do this other side. So that's looking good. Loosen it up a little bit. Should got one more. And that was I used a 13 millimeter, so that was the same for the tire, both tires and rims, and both sides. We took out two over there and 2 over here. Now, the next thing I do is I remove that battery, just so we can kind of see what's going on underneath the battery. So I usually just grab a big pair of channel locks or something, loosen that bolt up a little bit, and then just take it apart with my hands. And this other one I already disconnected it a while ago, just so it would drain the battery. So there's the battery there. The next step I would do is sometimes there's a battery tray in here. Try to remove this battery tray. Get rid of that. Sometimes you might want to save those if you have other projects going on, because those rust out. Okay, so the next step would be, just common sense would say, I'm going to need this handle off. It's going to drop out of there, drop straight down. And I wonder what else I need. So it looks like there's a couple more bolts on the side there. On each side, there's 2 more bolts that hold this granny in. And we'll show you on the other side. I'll remove these first. Like I said before, I just work like move stuff around, just shake stuff around, and do the easy stuff first. Why crawl underneath the tractor and get really dirty and take stuff apart that you might not need to take apart, you know? I mean, this is just how I work, just trying to work, you know, like the simplest and without using a million tools. So far we've used a couple hammers and mostly just like a 13mm and a pair of channel locks here and a pry bar. So most of these tools people have just laying around everywhere. So there's 2 more bolts there, and we'll come over to the right side here. And we're going to do all this with hand tools because I want to show that all this is possible with basic tools and basic knowledge. So here's 2 more bolts here. And so we'll take these out, just take a little bit on each one. Probably an easier way. Almost out. So there's one there, and we have 1 more to take out. Then we'll kind of shake things again and see where we're at. I think we're pretty close to it falling out on the floor. Almost out. There we go. It kind of like went sideways on me a little bit. It's probably because it's almost out of there. There we go. Let's use a pry bar. There she goes. Now there's probably a belt that's still here. What we want to do is just reach in here, it's loose. Once that spring releases down here, it loosens that belt up. Now we're probably pretty close to it falling out. Kind of want to see what else is hooked up here. So there's a couple more things here. I'll have to take a look at that. It's got a couple more things up front there. We're almost there. There's a spring, and looks like there's a little spring next to where the brake bolt is that goes to a long bar, and then it looks like there's a 1/2 inch nut in there that connects it to a little piece of the frame. So we're going to remove this 1/2 inch nut here and shake it down one more time. I think it will come out. But it's just trial and error, like I said. And just like, you know, you're looking for stuff here. Right next to this white fan here, there's a bolt. You can't miss it. It's right here at the top right hand corner of the battery box. So we'll remove this, and I'm excited to see how much more there is to remove. It should be pretty close. A couple washers and a nut. Alright, so let's get our pry bar. Kind of check it out. Give it a nice little pry there. There we go. A little tight. I'm showing you the real trial and error. Like, we're not going to do a lot of editing. We're just going to show you what it looks like to do it in real life. That washer's almost off. I heard that washer go. It was the kind of washer that really locks onto the bolt there. I imagine so it just doesn't come apart real easy. And then we'll shake her loose a little bit. As you can see, it kind of came out right here on the floor. There we go. And there it is. Looks pretty good. I don't know what numbers are on it, but let's see if there's anything that tells us what it is. So we got a fan on the top. A little dirty. Let's see if we see any numbers. Let's look on the bottom. See if there's anything. Thought it'd probably tell us what kind this was. Hey, here we go. We don't want to destroy that fan. Here's what it is. It's a Hydro Gear, Sullivan, Indiana. 718-0255A 313-0650. Made in the United States. That's good. Well, it's just an extra piece. Who knows? Guy may never use it. But if you had another one, another parts tractor, and a little bit of time, you could take it apart. The question is, can you get it back together? You've been watching Tractor Adventures. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day.